Hello. Today I wanted to do a little follow-up to my recent video about practicing performance mindfulness. A few days after I posted that video, I got my weekly email from the Bulletproof Musician blog, which is written by Noah Kageyama. And the title of the blog this week was, "When is the optimal time to start doing performance practice?" So this was very well timed for me because I was just thinking about it. I was just kind of going through it in my own life. And I'm going to post a link to the blog below, so I'd encourage you to check it out. In my video, I was talking about preparing my performance mindset and doing this a little more frequently in the weeks leading up to a performance. What I mean by that for me personally is probably anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks out of a big recital or concert, something like that. I'm trying to actively practice that performance mindset more. Noah Kageyama's post is about a study that was done involving golf, and specifically involving putting. And like I said, I'll link below. I recommend reading the whole thing. I'm just going to give a little recap of the post here. So there were 4 groups of non-golfers that were asked to practice for a putting competition. Within the 4 groups, there was one group that practiced for the specified amount of time, and within that time, they practiced under pressure for the whole time. There was another group that practiced for the entire specified time with 0 pressure applied to them. Then there was a third group that practiced under pressure for the first half of the time, and a final group that practiced under pressure for the second half of the time. So skipping to the results, when it came to performing the putts under pressure, the group that practiced under pressure for the entire time did best, and the group that practiced with 0 pressure did worst. The middle 2 groups actually did about the same. So Noah points out that this seems to suggest that maybe we should practice with some pressure all the time, but that is kind of unrealistic for musicians. So I wanted to offer my take on this. Every time we pick up a piece, we go through a learning phase. We're getting the piece in our ears and under our fingers. And there are many things that we can do to efficiently learn a piece in whatever specified amount of time we're aiming for. That is kind of a separate discussion from this one. But at some point, we will turn the corner from learning into practicing for performance. In other words, we start practicing to see what we have retained from the learning. Many of us will go back and forth between truly learning and practicing for retention for a while. And then maybe when we feel like we've got it, whatever that means, we will start to impose some pressure on our playing circumstances. We will record ourselves. We might play for a friend or a colleague or something like that. To me, what this study suggests is that we should possibly impose those pressure conditions on ourselves a little bit sooner than we might otherwise think we should. We shouldn't necessarily be recording ourselves while we are truly just learning a piece, but recording ourselves or playing for a friend can be an even better way to find out what we have retained than just practicing on our own. Now, for me, I currently teach in a college setting. I have colleagues here around me, but everyone's very busy. It's not always the best time to be asking for someone to listen to what I'm playing. And I do record myself, which is helpful. But for me personally, recording mainly just gives me information about my playing. Because I have been doing it for so long, it doesn't make me feel the pressure of performance. So the tool that I've been using most recently to practice performing under pressure is Instagram Live. So there's just, for me, something about turning on the live stream and not knowing who's going to see me perform that really brings out my stress response. It's not something that I do all the time. I do definitely wait until I feel like I can perform a piece before doing it, but I find it to be an extremely helpful tool for simulating the performance experience. And it's one of the things that I do in the weeks leading up to a performance to see how my mindset practice holds up when my stress response kicks in. from that type of situation, I can get even more information than just from recording myself. So, while I am here using one of Noah Kageyama's blogs as inspiration for my own video, I also wanted to say that the Bulletproof Musician has been incredibly helpful to me as a performer. If you're the type of person who has difficulty with your stress response in performance, or if you're the type of person who's just really in your own head about performance, I would highly recommend checking out his online course. I've actually had the pleasure of seeing Noah speak live, and the online course gives you access to all of the resources he uses when speaking, plus many, many more. It does cost money, but to me, it was worth it in a big way. You get ongoing access even as he's changing the resources, as he's updating them. And for me, it's been a huge tool that has helped both my performance mindset and my performance overall, my stress response management, and all of that. So that's my plug for the Bulletproof Musician. Please check that out as well. And thank you for watching this video and for taking part in this continued discussion on practicing for performance.